There is always something in front of the human being. There is never not a thing in front of the human being. From a spiritual view, which is also the way in view of fact, the human possesses spiritual structures inside, and among the multiplicity of structures, one of which is having a front, also evident from the biological shape, a bilateral symmetry, a thing with an anomalous back. So this being or creature has a front. Now we may understand this front from the structure of the Hebrew letter Daleth, but there is some other structure inside this, or nearby, which is the letter and agency of Chet. See, David from the Bible says, "Lord, you are always before me." Notice the positionality revealed in the statement. The verse is not simply a statement depicting emotional relation. Yahweh is indeed in a related way in front of us. Now the letter Chet, which is pronounced with a guttural sound from the throat, or as it is said, with an unarticulate breath outward, can be conceived with the notion of outside, or being outside, half or halfway, something that is not quite there but almost there. That is why I had said this letter Chet is standing at the door, both in and out of the door, of Daleth, our immediate front. We need this front and this outside half because this is where God shows up. The letter Chet may have two legs or two pillars, one its own vav and then the one it touches in front, that of God, because God has a vav, yod of he. In our broken and fallen state, the letters inside us may be absent or broken, but the effect of these agencies are still at work. So if Yahweh is not in front of us, by our intentional focus and faith and heart, as a pillar of light, then there is something else in front of us. That is why I had said, there is never not a thing in front of the human being. So before the darkened mind of those without light, there is an anomalous pillar in front of the person. I say pillar because the thing, as it were, is vertical in the dimensions in relation to the Daleth, our outward looking, and in the absence of light a pillar of death is inserted automatically. We may say we don't look at either, but in practice it is impossible. Even those who look away from the light will notwithstanding have the death pillar in front as a trading interface. The pillars trade with us. So we are strange beings, we are half being, a half of a thing, but we are not really half beings, we are indeed total beings, but the half is true in the context of the vav of ourselves, because the vav always wants another vav, and the other vav is found in Yahweh, and it is the halfness, one could say, in the dynamic of the letter Chet inside us, that allows us to touch God. Now I don't quite understand why the Chet relates to the throat, why the throat and its breath relate to vav touching another vav, but I do know that inside the throat is power. It is not quite a throat, it is a dimensional space inside the throat and voice, able to touch deep things, void unto voids. Now I think that there is something else in our voice, we all have it but not all use it. There is from the void of the anomalous dimensional space in the throat some sort of particle. I had perceived it once. A little something like a dot from a void, a sort of singularity, radiating, full of power. I believe that some humans, when they speak loosely or with the force of witchcraft, or with fierce intentional desire, that when they speak out in their loudness into the mind of another person, that they send off within their words, this particle. And now when the other person keeps the words, or really memory of the voice of the shouter, then this particle is active in their own head, working destruction. So let us clear our minds of other people's voices.